everyone, my name is Luke Parker and this is another Bracebridge engineering video, and in this video we're going to be talking about surface finishing. Now I've got a number of parts in front of me that have all had surface finishing done to them, and what the purpose of the video is just to explain a little bit about the surface treatments that are on offer for the various different materials and how that might help you when you're just designing a part or looking at a part that you want to have manufactured via pressing. So we'll jump straight in and we'll pick on the mild steel parts first of all. So first thing we've got is wet paint. Now this is a hand sprayed wet paint component. It's basically the same as the painting that's done on your car or an aerosol spraying in your shed. It's just the same thing. It's obviously done far more professionally, you'd hope, than in your shed. But it basically gives you a nice uniform colour. You can get all sorts of different colours, more variety of colours than any other treatment really. Different pearlescent paints, all sorts of stuff. Within manufacturing we don't use it that often. We find that powder coating generally is more preferable, and our customers ask for powder coating a little bit more, and this is what this little part is, which is our desk holder. We had a few desk organisers powder coated just to see what they look like, and I was rather impressed with it, even if it is brown. Powder coating offers a uniform thickness of paint. You can get into all sorts of nooks and crannies, whereas with the wet paint, if you were trying to get in down to the bottom of there, you'd probably get a little bit of running. You'd have to be very careful not to get overspray. But obviously with powder coating, what they do is charge the component and then electrically charge the atoms of the paint, so it adheres to the surface of the component a lot quicker and a lot easier. So that's the advantages over powder coating. It's got fairly good rust resistance as well. Obviously looks great. So if you've got a decorative part, something that looks that needs to look good, and especially if it's going to fit in with another coloured product, then a powder coating or again wet paint would be a preferable choice. Now if you wanted to go for a super non-corrosive part, you might want to get that zinc plated first. Like this little bracket here comes into the factory as a zinc plated material. We then process it. Now the only thing with zinc plating on its own that's pre-coated is on the edge here. I don't know if you can see that. This obviously is cut on the end by the machine, so that bit isn't protected. However, you do get a certain amount of galvanic corrosion protection because of the near zinc, if you like, on that. So zinc plating is another good option. It's quite relatively cheap. You can get a gold colour like this as well. That's sort of going out a little bit now, but gold and silver zinc plating is another very good corrosion prevention. You don't get a lot of visual sort of options with it, but you do get a good corrosion protection. So again, I would probably use these applications inside, not outside generally, unless it's not too critical that it will rust, because eventually the zinc, being as it's only thin, it will rust away in the end. Now I made a little mistake there, because actually this one is pre-galvanized. So this is galvanizing, which is another option. The galvanizing is generally done post-operation, although this is pre-galv, so this is done before. But you can get, and I haven't got a part actually, it has been hot dip galvanized, but hot dip galvanizing for mild steel is probably one of the best corrosion protection surface treatments you can offer. It's a hot dip zinc tank that the parts go into. They come out, drip off, and set to a very hard zinc coat. Now the zinc is obviously sacrificial to the metal, so the zinc obviously is a thing that rusts or corrodes, as you say, leaving your metal component underneath unharmed. So that's a really good option is galvanizing. So if you've got things like fencing brackets, outdoor components for livestock, anything that's going to live outside, posts, all sorts of things, galvanizing is great for. So it's used a lot in agriculture, for instance, because you've got things out in the weather all day long. So that's another really good option. So really, from where we stand, zinc plating, powder coating are two of the real main runners that we have here in terms of volume. If they're going to be treated at all, it's generally either one of the two. You've also got as well, which is this little part here, which is very similar to zinc, but it's tin plate. Tin plating is something that's used quite a lot. in industry. We use it a lot in the aerospace industry and industrial applications. Tin plate is slightly different to zinc, obviously being tin, but it offers a really good level of corrosion resistance. It looks good, and it's used quite a lot for chemical applications and things because it doesn't react that readily. So tin plating is also good. A little bit more expensive than zinc, but also a really good option. So those really are the mild steel options. Now, if you've got a mild steel part that must be kept raw, i.e. it's going into an internal part such as an engine, and it can't be plated for any risk of it chipping off and going through internals or blocking filters, then dipping in an anticorrosive fluid is an option. We offer that here, and we supply probably about 30 or 40% of our parts raw to our customers, and we dip them in an anticorrosive fluid. It offers protection, certainly indoors, but also outdoors, for up to about 6 months. It's quite a thick, tacky substance which dries and basically offers protection. And we've done trials out here, and they've lasted for months and months and months through bad weather, rain, all sorts you can throw them, and the raw mild steel part is still rust free, which is great. So that's something we can offer should your part then go on for a further process in your line, or it needs to go internally, like I said. That's another good option. So that's the mild steel parts covered. Now, if we look at the aluminium parts, we've got some aluminium parts here. This is a aluminium end cap. Now, this has been anodized. Now, with anodizing, it's generally a sulfuric acid bath with a dye in it. In this case, it's blue. Offers a really good visual look. You can get many different colours of anodizing, and it also gives a certain amount of protection to the surface as well. Corrosion is obviously not such a problem with aluminium, certainly in exposure, but obviously reaction with other metals, it will corrode. So anodizing is a really good option. So if you've got an aluminium part and you want to preserve the finish of it, or certainly maybe a surface finish, like a polished surface finish, anodizing is great. You can get clear anodizing as well. You can also get like an industrial anodize like that. That's an industrial grey anodize, which is just a tough anodize. It will stop the part corroding, and it will keep it looking good for many years. So really those two options for aluminium are there. You can also powder coat, you can tin plate copper. We've got a little job at the minute that we're tin plating copper. There's all sorts of different treatments, but those really cover the main bulk of it for any metal really. But if you have got any queries and questions over what surface finish you'd like to go for, or how it may help you, then by all means drop us an email or send us a message. We can offer lots of advice based on different surface finishes. We have got one example recently of a customer who was trying to get a part economically produced, and we were looking at galvanising afterwards, but it found out we could get pre-galvanised material for it, so it saved them a lot of money. And galvanising afterwards, it then went on to powder coat, and after that, so we saved a lot of money and essentially achieved in the same result. And ultimately, if you have got a bracket that's going outside, or certainly in a marine environment, all of these coatings are great. However, a part like this in stainless steel, you can't go any further. 316 marine grade stainless steel is ideal for marine applications, and would be great to keep a part great forever really in a marine environment. They will corrode under certain conditions, but it's very rare, and you have to have other chemicals and electric currents and bits and pieces that aids the corrosion, and certain acids will attack stainless. But generally, certainly in agriculture, industrial and marine environments, stainless steel, if you've got a bracket that you're looking at making it mild steel, it's going anywhere near the coast or anywhere near water regularly, we'd certainly opt to ask you to consider stainless steel. Powder coating will eventually under salt spray tests, they last for many hours under salt spray tests, but eventually it will break down and start to rust underneath. Like I said, you can have a part like this, tin plated, zinc plated first, or tin plated like this one is, and then powder coated, and that will give you really good corrosion protection. But stainless is the way to go should you have a really corrosive environment that your product's going to live in. So I hope that helps you decide on your product which coating you'd want to look at. Like I said, if you've got any questions, drop us an email. Follow us on social media and drop us a private message. We'll answer any of the questions. Hopefully this has been interesting for you, and thank you very much, and we'll see you again in another video. Thank you. Bye.